Are the Atlanta Falcons eyeing another defensive edge that could help their pass rush right now immediately? In this video, I tell you who exactly and how this player can have an impact on the Atlanta Falcons going forward. Now, for those who don't know, the Atlanta Falcons have a sort of pass rush issue, and they have been looking for a piece that can bolster this pass rush. And a lot of people have thrown out the name Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. Sorry, I forgot his name. But there is one name that's kind of risen from the ashes because of the latest trade acquisitions. And the trade acquisition I'm talking about is DeAndre Hopkins going to Kansas City. This essentially signals that the Tennessee Titans are going to be having a fire sale. They're trading a lot of people. They've also traded a linebacker from their team. And they're like, look, we're not going to be good. Let's get draft capital. And let's go from there. And this leads me to the player who I think will have a phenomenal fit with the Atlanta Falcons. That is Harold Landry. Now, for those who aren't familiar with Harold Landry's game, he actually is a very, very, very good and underrated player. He's a guy that's had 10+ sacks the last few seasons that he's played. Last year, he had 10.5 sacks. The year before that, he had 12 sacks. And he's a guy, just because he plays on not as good of a team as the Tennessee Titans, we kind of forget about. Now, Harold Landry can wreak havoc. And what I like most about him is he can play opposite to our guy, Matthew Judon. He is also, like I said, a game wrecker who not only gets sacks, but he puts a lot of pressure. He forces pressure for the opposing team's quarterback. Now, for some stats this year for Harold Landry, he is a 4-sack guy already through 7 games. So he has been getting sacks and he has productivity. He's also, like I said, last year, he's a 10.5 sack guy last year. And the following year that he played, he was a 12 sack guy. Wouldn't the Atlanta Falcons love a production from an individual like that? At least a sack a game. That would be phenomenal. Or at least a sack every 2 games. That'd be something that they don't have and something that they need going forward. And I think he could help solve some of their sack problems. I also like to say he's a younger individual. He's 28 years old. So he has a few years left of his prime, quote unquote. And like I said, he will fit very well with the existing team because he can play that 3-4, 3-5 stand-up edge that they like playing and what Jimmy Lakes likes to run. You can also drop him out. I wouldn't suggest doing it, but he has ability to do that. Now, here comes the hard part, and that's salary, and that's draft, and what you have to give up. So, from a draft perspective, I think you have to give up around a fourth rounder for him. I don't think he's quite in that 3rd round territory, but he might be in there. But I think you have to give up a 4th round to get him, which the Atlanta Falcons do have, and I don't really see that being an issue if they truly want him on their team. Another aspect that's going to be very tricky is he's due about $17 million a year. Now, I'm not sure how they can make that work with the cap space, and I'm also not sure if the Tennessee Titans are willing to pay much of the cap hit. I'm not sure how you work that out, but that is an issue as well. He makes $17 million. I think we're sitting right now at about $12 million in cap space, but that could change with a few signings, and there's a lot. But if you want to move that around, you can get $17 million in cap space. I'm just thinking about going forward for the future. Are we going to continue to pay a guy $17 million? Now, all this to say, Harold Landry is a guy that we would like and need to have on the team just because of his sack production. To be honest, I wasn't familiar with his game until I saw him play, and I was like, this guy is a beast. And he gets after the quarterback, which is something that the Atlanta Falcons truly need. I know they got a lot of pressure in Geno, but there's still some instances where individuals couldn't get off blocks and couldn't get that needed sack. And I think that's something that Harold Landry will provide at an elite level. I also will say this. He fits the culture. He is a good locker room guy, and you don't hear much from him, which is good. He's not some may say prima donna. He's not that. He's a guy that comes to work. He works hard, and you can tell that not only in the way he approaches the game, but in the way he rushes the passer. He's he has a high motor. He's a high intensity kind of guy, and that's something that the Atlanta Falcons need. Now, If you agree or disagree with me, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Harold Landry. If you want to go look at some of his highlights and then come back and leave a comment down below and let me know how you feel about him. And also, where do you think this acquisition will take the Atlanta Falcons in the future? I think a guy like Harold Landry could easily take them to the NFC Championship, but that is neither here nor there. But like I said, if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. If you want to see more videos like this, check this one out right here. And like always, peace.